Matt Holliday and the Cardinals will play in game number 2 of a 3-game series tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Looking to make it 2 straight in front of another big crowd tonight here at Busch Stadium. Baseball comes your way next. The weather is ideal for baseball tonight. Game 2 between the Diamondbacks and the Cardinals. What can we expect? Well, game 1, a little bit crazy last night. Chris Carpenter made a start. Danny Herron gave up a couple of early runs. Diamondbacks, though, were able to come back against Carpenter. Randy Wynn, a misplay, but it didn't cost the Redbirds. 9th inning, Tony La Russa is ejected. 2 runners would make it on base, including Yadier Molina and Brendan Ryan. That sets up a sacrifice for the pitcher, Adam Wainwright. Another pitcher's running, that's Garcia. He would come around to score, and this bouncer and a wild throw allowed the Cardinals to win it. One of the heroes last night, Skip Schumacher. After the game, he had a chance to visit with our very own Jim Hayes.
Couple of hits for Skip Schumacher in this one, but Skip there in the bottom of the 9th, what looked like a routine ground ball to first, and all mayhem ended, and you guys celebrate on the field.
We'll take it. You know, I don't know how that just happened. I've never seen this type of game before with, you know, home run over the. I mean, just a lot of different things happened tonight, and but we'll take that win. That's a huge win.
How about the way in which you guys come back and battled in this one? Wainwright lays down the bunt. I mean, a lot of stuff had to happen for you to get this win.
Absolutely. You know, Dan Herron pitched a really good game. He's been tough on us all year, and Carp got hit in that first inning, and he showed a lot because that was a huge knot on his right arm, and he battled the whole night in, and I'm just glad we came away with the win.
It doesn't seem that you guys have caught a ton of breaks this season. To come away in the beginning of a homestand with a win like this, that kind of seems to me would change the complexion of things for you guys.
Yeah, you're right about that. It doesn't seem like it's gone our way throughout the year, but hopefully this turns things around because, like I said, I've never seen this type of game happen in the major leagues, and it's a really nice feeling to have.
That was a monster hit. Thanks, Skip.
Huge hit. Yeah, thanks.
Skip Schumacher, we send it back to you guys.
All right, Jim and Skip from last night. That's Al Rabosky. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Al, you played 13 years in the big leagues. You've been around this game of baseball at the major league level for a number of years, decades. Have you ever seen a game like that last night?
I don't think so. I've seen walk-offs, but not quite with a couple errors resulting in. One observation is when you see the way this ball club has struggled offensively, Cincinnati just can't pull away. So that speaks volumes for the Cardinals. Of course, they're going to have to endure some more as now Freeze is on the disabled list.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here tonight and also our pitching matchup when we come back. The Cardinals will face the lefty, Dontrell Willis. St. Louis with Adam Wainwright on the mound. The men on the mound. Now look at those two when we come back. Cardinals. And Al, tell us about Dontrell Willis. What has happened with him?
Well, Dontrell Willis, last time out, 2 1/3 innings, 7 walks. That's all you need to know. He walked 6 the time before that. Have patience. He'll probably not be in the strike zone, so have patience and wait him out. Adam Wainwright on the other side, he has been a monster at home, 7-0, great ERA. Of course, he is 0-3 this year against the National League West, so we'll see what he offers tonight.
Some of the great statues here at the ballpark, and of course, that's one of the best. Jack Buck statue outside Busch Stadium. We'll talk about Colby's sophomore season when we come back. Folks, he hit this ball 483 feet, and for a little over 3 hours, nearly 4, that was the longest home run hit in baseball this year. Then Josh Hamilton hit one 485 feet. But bottom line is, Al, Colby's had a really nice sophomore year.
He really has. He's had 9 home runs this month, and you can see he's almost duplicated all of his numbers of a year ago. He's going to have career highs in home runs, RBIs, walks, all kinds of things for Colby, and let's just hope it all produces a winning campaign.
With the lefty Dontrell Willis on the mound tonight, Colby will sit, but we could see him come off the bench late in the game. From here to GOAT, we'll tell you what that means when we come back. We'll take you back to Game 1 next. Pujols. And last night, a couple of bright spots for him, and then the misplay in the ninth. This would tie it up at 2-2. Also had a fine play defensively midway through. But, Al, it was the play in the ninth inning, obviously. One of the big differences in the ballgame last night. Arizona hands the Cardinals a gift.
Well, right here, 2 men on, second and third. He loses the handle. He throws with it in the palm of his hand. He throws it away. Not only the tying run, but the winning run scores. That was last night. What will we expect here tonight? We'll be back with baseball after this.
With full flavor and a crisp, clean finish, it's what we do. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 for quality tires and expert auto service. By Steak and Shake, life needs flavor. By Chevy's expert auto service. See your Mid-America Chevy dealers or shop and compare at stlchevy.com. And by Casino Queen Hotel and Casino, home of the loosest slots. Umpires are on the scene, and a glorious evening for baseball here in the Gateway City. Game 2 between the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. And the Diamondbacks now find themselves with that heartbreaking loss last night, 17 games below the 500 mark and 15 and a half games out in the National League West. The Cardinals, with their win, they're 42-34, both Cincinnati and St. Louis identical in the loss column, but the Reds with just one more win over St. Louis, so a half-game lead in the Central Division. A.J. Hinch has to be wondering, what did I get myself into? He came from their front office and their farm system, and now is their manager.
And he never managed at any level prior to getting this promotion.
Adam Wainwright and the Cardinals take to the field, and let's take a look at the Diamondbacks lineup. Kelly Johnson, Tony Abreu, switch hitting shortstop, and then Justin Upton. Miguel Montero had a couple of base hits last night. Adam LaRoche, the 2-run homer. Then Mark Reynolds, Parra, Gillespie, and Dontrell Willis, the Sprint starting lineup. And Adam Wainwright is our Marshall Wireless Sprint starter. Great record, 10-5. Already with 3 complete games before the All-Star break, and opponents only hitting .216 against him. One of the only times that he wasn't very efficient on the mound was his last start, and that was in Toronto, and Vernon Wells got him for a pair of home runs as he lasted 4 innings in that start. The defense behind Wainwright. Let's take a look. With Matt Holliday in left, Randy Wynn gets the start in center, and Stabenow is in right. Felipe Lopez, Brendan Ryan, Aaron Miles, and Albert Pujols along the infield, and Wainwright, Molina. The battery tonight, and the Cardinals defense is presented by Dobbs. Well, the Diamondbacks, of course, saw Randy Johnson a couple of times wear their uniform. It's our Schnooks this date in history. Jeff Cirillo, who also went to USC, a strikeout victim, and that was number 4,000 for the big unit, Randy Johnson.
Adam Wainwright has been almost unhittable here. He's 7-0, 1.67 ERA in 7 home games this season with 2 complete games. Oddly enough, as he is 10-5, he is 0-3 with an ERA at 3 in 3 starts against the National League West.
And the first pitch taken for a strike, going back to Randy Johnson for a moment. Boy, it was not easy for him to get that 300th win. Eventually he got it, well over 4,000 strikeouts. But remember, he was a guy that struggled so much with his control and with back issues. He had a number of surgeries. Very tough for him in his mid-40s to get to that elusive win number 300. But boy, did he earn it.
Well, I think you said it best when you talk about his back issues. So it's pretty tough when everything is working right to pitch at this level, but when you have the back pain and necessitated multiple surgeries, it makes that much tougher. Thank goodness Adam Wainwright doesn't have a back issue.
1-2 pitch, and Wainwright, as we talked about, was roughed up just a bit in that last start against the Blue Jays, and he said his curveball actually was pretty good. He left a couple of up and eventually took the loss in that game. Poor Danny Herron, he did just about everything to win the game last night.
I don't know if you caught an item in the newspaper today. As good start for Wainwright, striking out Kelly Johnson. He's amongst the league leaders, 5th best in the National League in strikeouts. But there was some talk that the Cardinals are searching pursuing at the trade deadline. If they need anything, it would be starting pitching. And one of the areas they were talking about, Cliff Lee, but also they said that a likely trading partner could be Arizona and Danny Herron. Wouldn't that be something?
Well, what's surprised me about the article, and Abreu's the hitter, there's a look at Herron, was the fact that he said, now, am I looking to be traded? No. But if it happened, would St. Louis be a good place? You bet.
Sure.
And I talked to the Hall of Famer, Rick Hummel, who did that interview with Dan Herron. I said, nice job, Commish. You got him to say he'd like to come to St. Louis, and he was just laughing. Rick is one of the best. That's Derek Gould there on the left, and the Commish, Rick Hummel, the Hall of Famer, on the right. 1-2 pitch. And a late call on that third strike. 2 up and 2 down. Just a few moments ago, Wainwright finishing up his warm-up tosses. Doesn't take himself too serious. He's ready.
Well, those two are very close friends, but you know, once he gets to the mound, it's a different facial expression, and he is ready to compete. This is a ball club, the Diamondbacks, that will strike out a ton.
So 2 up, 2 down with a pair of strikeouts for Adam Wainwright to start the ball game. Here's Justin Upton. He was 1 for 4 last night. He has 14 home runs, and he's driven in 39.
Dan, when you compare the Diamondbacks offense, there's an awful lot of young talent here, and Upton's one of the best, and you compare them with the Cardinal offense, they beat the Cardinals in virtually every category, whether it's you know, in batting average, doubles, home runs, triples.
And Al, I know we're not around it obviously every day with Arizona, but you look at some of the names up and down this lineup. Now, their bullpen statistically has been atrocious. They have some decent starting pitching, but you look at the lineup up and down, it should be better than 30 and 47. Fly ball into right. Nick Stavanoa makes the catch. Good start for Wainwright. And the Cardinals will come up in their half of the first against the lefty, Dontrell Willis. Crowd is still filing in to Busch Stadium here in St. Louis. And a look at Tony La Russa's lineup tonight. Brendan Ryan, the shortstop, will lead it off, followed by the third baseman, Felipe Lopez. Familiar spot batting third, Albert Pujols, then Matt Holliday, Nick Stavanoa, Yadier Molina, Randy Wynn, Adam Wainwright, and Aaron Miles. Dontrelle Willis making his 5th start of the year with the Diamondbacks, and he has a record of 1-0. His last 3 starts, though, have been very rough. And let's see if he can get his control in order here tonight. That is a big, big key for him.
Well, he's not going very deep. And you see his last 3 starts, 17 walks and 11 1/3 innings. ERA over 7.
Ryan taps it out in front of the mound, and Willis throws to first for the first out. And a look at the defense tonight for Arizona. Parra, Gillespie, and Upton. Reynolds, Abreu, Johnson, and LaRoche along the infield. Dontrelle Willis and Miguel Montero, the battery tonight. Defense presented by Dobbs. You'd have to think that maybe taking pitches is part of the game plan tonight for St. Louis.
Well, except for Brendan Ryan. I think everyone else got the message from Mark McGwire. Patience.
We saw that Sunday against Bruce Chen, a guy that lives on the corners and really just nibbles the entire game. But with Dontrelle Willis, that's not necessarily the case. He's just trying to find the strike zone. Up the middle, and a base hit for Lopez.
Lopez, he took the first pitch, it was a strike. Well, after that, if you get another strike, go ahead and hit it up the middle. And threw for a base hit. So Dontrelle, by far, not throwing as hard as when he first came up. Rookie of the Year in a year that saw his team, the Florida Marlins, win the World Championship back in '03. Been a rough go since Dontrelle won the Rookie of the Year, but you can't say that about Albert Pujols.
And Pujols looks at strike 1. It seems like on these celebrations, Pujols, the walk-off wins, he's the first guy out there to celebrate.
Well, he's a great teammate. Tony always really pays attention to that, and patience is only so good. But Dontrelle is a great start. He's thrown 6 pitches. All 6 have been strikes. So, you know, if you take the first one, concede him a strike. After that, be ready for the next one.
The year that he was the National League Rookie of the Year was in '03. He went 14-6 with the Florida Marlins that season. And he strikes out Pujols. And Albert is saying that he got a piece of it and it hit the dirt.
Nice job of trying to sell it, but I think we're in agreement with Larry Vanover. No contact, no foul pitch. And here's what we're talking about. You can't swing at those pitches. They're out of the strike zone. But it's hard for us to tell Albert he's doing something wrong when he's in the batter's box.
Matt Holliday is hitting .297, 11 home runs, and he's driven in 37. He's made a surge in the All-Star balloting as well.
Up to 5th, right?
That's right. And you can vote up to 25 times for your favorite Cardinal at Cardinals.com. So he has an outside chance of making the All-Star game. Albert Pujols leads the National League with over 3.2 million votes. More than doubled his lead over Ryan Howard at first base. Pujols, by the way, has said that he will not participate in the home run derby. Who would have thought that? 9 pitches, 8 strikes for Dontrelle.
Really just, I'll say it again, that if there's nothing physically wrong with you and you're not throwing strikes, it's concentration and bad mechanics. I'd look to see. You would think with all of his problems throwing strikes, Dontrelle would have quite a few throwing errors. He does not have any. But he's already made 2 awkward throws that You almost look for him to throw it away, don't you?
Yeah, and it's almost like he doesn't trust himself to let loose and make the play.
So right there is that breaking ball. Albert swung at it. Holiday swings at one out of the strike zone. Back in 03, he was quite the sensation. And then the first time I saw him pitch, I said, oh, he's just an old-fashioned, very deceptive left-handed pitcher. He also threw about 4 or 5 miles an hour harder.
Pitch inside and a steal for Felipe Lopez.
That's another thing you can do. He's very, very slow to the plate.
Real key for the Cardinals this year is scoring first, and this will help putting a man in scoring position with the steal. The Redbirds are 29-6 when scoring first this year, best in the National League, and they only trail the New York Yankees. They are 30-6 when they score first.
I'm sure Montero and Cantrell really got together there and make sure they knew what sign it was for the runner at second base. Little things like that, I guess you can't ever assume somebody remembers. But we talked a little bit last night. When you got a club like Arizona, particularly on the road, you've got to break out on top. And then they almost, they just kind of think, well, we'll look forward to tomorrow.
Well, that ninth inning was something, too.
We are accustomed to seeing their bullpen struggle, but not by not by throwing errors.
3-2 pitch to Holiday, and he walked him. First walk issued by Willis. And you wonder, Al, when you've had the amount of walks and the control issues that he's had, that you walk one and you say, uh-oh, here we go again.
You hope for his sake that he doesn't think that way. But it's somewhat natural. And then, you get your defense back on their heels. They're not, up on the balls of their feet, knowing that every time you're in the windup, there's probably action because you're throwing so many strikes.
Runners at first and second for Nick Stavanoa. And that ball gets away. They're going to say it hit him. So Stavanoa is hit by the pitch. A walk, hit batsman. And now 5 of the last 6 pitches have been way out of the strike zone from Dontrell Willis.
If they got him, it just barely grazed Stavanoa. And Molina had a nice night last night. Let's hope he can continue that.
Felipe Lopez, a single, then a steal. Walk to Holiday. Stavanoa hit by the pitch. And here's Molina, who, by the way, still leads at catcher in the National League over Brian McCann of the Atlanta Braves by 185,000 votes. The Cardinals have asked us to tell you, please go vote at Cardinals.com.
I'll vote for all of them, but Yachty had his first All-Star appearance last year. Let's hope that's an annual thing.
What did you think, Al, of Tony La Russa coming out in the Molina at-bat and arguing the pitch? Not just for the sake of arguing, but to disrupt the timing of Danny Herron.
Well, Tony, he's always going to use gamesmanship, always tries to use all kinds of advantages. Remember, Danny had a very tough 8th inning. He got through that, started the 9th.
Throw down to third. They nearly threw it away again.
It's contagious, doesn't it?
Well, Dontrell is a former Tiger, so maybe it just stretches to the catcher and then to third.
Well, we talked about with Heilman, who made the first throwing error on the bunt play by Wainwright, trying to get another pitcher, Garcia, running for Molina, going to third base with runners at first and second. Threw it away. We said it looked like the 06 World Series with the Detroit pitchers.
2 balls and a strike. But Tony's always trying to get any kind of edge he can find. And Herron even alluded to that after the game, that, hey, maybe he was going out there to disrupt me. And then all of a sudden, it was a base hit by Molina, who went 2 for 3 last night. That's in there for strike 2.
Well, it was. You remember also that it was good timing, and it was also Tony was very frustrated. Both sides were frustrated with the strike zone last night of Mark Carlson. And interesting to me is Oquendo went in and shook his hand as the game started. The third base umpire tonight, last night's home plate umpire. Little gamesmanship right there. He's like, hey, be mad at Tony, don't be mad at me. He may be managing someday and doesn't want to start out the bad way with the umpiring crew.
Outfield not very deep, straight away.
If you're a pitcher, you want to retire the hitter on this 2-2 pitch.
And Molina bounces it to third, bobbled by Reynolds, plenty of time, and makes the play with a wide throw. Wainwright back to work. He had 2 strikeouts in the first, no score after 1. A Wednesday night edition of the Cat Fight with Jim Hayes. And that'll be the Cat Fight tomorrow on Toyota Cardinals Live. There's a look at Mike Shannon and Mike Matheny. And also the Braccabrella. Early look at the Braccabrella. Those will be handed out on Friday night, July 2nd. The Braccabrella is back.
You know, we have that high school all-star game tomorrow that'll be played after the day game, and Mike Matheny, who is in that shot, is going to manage one of those clubs.
And our understanding is he's going to stop by the TV booth, and we'll have a chance to visit with Mike, who also is working for the Cardinals and working with some of the minor league players.
That's great. You know, whatever he wants to do in the game of baseball, he'll do an excellent job.
Backhanded here, top play, throw to first, nicely done. It's not an easy play by the second baseman tonight, Aaron Miles.
You know, Dan, sometimes people just think that you can, you know, that it's easy to play second base because you're so short. But many times you have these very awkward throws, and your momentum is carrying you out into left field. You've got a reverse direction throw. Make those plays are really easy for Schumacher in his superior arm strength, but Aaron Miles did a nice job on that one.
And here is LaRoche with one out and nobody on. I was reading today where it was back in 1913, I believe, one baseball used for an entire 9-inning game. One.
It's happened before. And then I've seen, Dan, I remember even in my playing career where I saw balls that were in there for so long that when they would be hit for the last time, that actually the seams would start coming apart and they'd loosen up and you'd have a tear in the seams. But nobody, you know, ever heard of this. It hits the dirt, you got to throw it out.
The estimate is that teams in the major leagues, on average, will spend about $250,000 on baseballs from the time spring training begins until the final out of the regular season. That's amazing.
I think people would be shocked when you think about the baseballs, the amount of bats and the value there. Just some of the expenditures is staggering.
On the outside corner, 3-2. Larry Vanover with that late strike call behind home plate.
The backdoor breaking ball, and Roche was pretty involved in that game right up to the end. I remember the first part.
That's 3 strikeouts in the first 5 for Wainwright.
Well, see an outstanding breaking ball, and then you can get them to chase a ball that's out of the strike zone. It's keeping the ball down, and as a hitter, you've got to be disciplined enough to know if his curveball starts out belt high, do not swing at it, because it's going to be bouncing by the time it gets to you.
Now, we were talking about this as Reynolds steps in before the game. The play that LaRoche made, coming to the plate, and I mentioned it in calling the play, I thought he bobbled it. And then you also see in the replay since then, he bobbles it a little bit, but it looked like he was indecisive as to whether or not to come to the plate or take the ball and go to the bag and step on first base, which if you're playing in, the only play is on that particular play is to come home.
And you really wonder if he was surprised at the runner going on contact, which he shouldn't have been. So he's playing in here, gets the ground ball. He looks at the runner, then he shocked, because it looked like he was looking him back, and then he saw that he took off for the plate. Now that's Jaime Garcia, Brendan Ryan. Garcia scored the run before.
In on the hands and cut off by Felipe Lopez. Nice play to his left. 7, 8, and 9 for the Redbirds coming up. No score midway through 2. Our text poll presented by U.S. Cellular. Which expansion team logo do you like the best? Arizona, Colorado, Florida, or Tampa Bay? Text logo A, B, C, or D to 432-432. I will go with C, the Florida Marlins. And overall, I'll take the Birds on the bat.
Oh, that's the prettiest uniform going. Had many different variations, but they've all been classy.
Even the STL, the Caps. 0-1 pitch to Wynn. Pull to Reynolds from his knees, throws, and a strong throw and got him. The pick on the other end by LaRoche. A fine play on both ends.
Reynolds has committed 8 errors, and LaRoche at the other end 7. So a nice play, dives, ball popped out, but from his knees, he took his time and really made that strong throw. Reactionary position, you have about a step and a dive is all the time you have on hard hit balls. And a nice play, hit both ends. There you see LaRoche. And that's more indicative of the fielder that he is rather than the play last night.
Wainwright scored the winning run last night, and starting here in game 2. When he and Garcia scored the 9th inning last night, first team to have 2 pitchers score in the same inning since back in 1974. Ken Brett, Doc Ellis did that.
And the Cardinals really playing with a short bench, as David Freese, who was put on the disabled list, and Ludwig, nursing leg injuries, weren't available to run, so it necessitated Jaime Garcia to pinch run for Molina and Adam to go up in a sacrifice situation.
And Al, it seems like, you always worry about a pitcher running. You don't want to see them hurt themselves. And when you looked at the replay of Garcia's slide, he went in very hard to third base. He was lucky he wasn't hurt.
An awkward slide as he kind of went over the top of the bag, and here's a walk to the pitcher. But Wainwright is a good hitter.
And these bags have no give, really. I mean, they're hard, they're in the ground, and they're not going to move. So Dontrell Willis is walked 2. He's hit a man, and here's Aaron Miles, who made a very good play defensively in the top of this inning. He's your second baseman tonight. The Cardinals have made a move today. David Freese, with his bad ankle, is out. He's been put on the disabled list, and Salas, the right-hander, because of the injury to Freese, is available to come back up, and he is in the bullpen.
And Dan, because of that potential arm injury to Carpenter, he's hit by the line drive last night, and Montero come out. His next start is in question, so they kept Ottavino here in case you need another starter or someone to go a lot of innings. Now, Salas did go 2 innings up in Toronto, but he's basically a 1-inning pitcher. So the Cardinals playing with a very small bench and more protection in their bullpen for the starters.
2 balls, no strikes, with 1 out and a runner at first. Next to Aaron Miles. Remember, Dontrell Willis began his professional career with the Chicago Cubs. 8th round pick in 2000 from Alameda, California. Then he was traded to the Florida Marlins in exchange for Matt Clement and Antonio Alfonseca. Following season, he was the Rookie of the Year.
Very likable young man who almost a near-death experience in a very serious car accident, and it's really changed his perspective on life.
And that's a little bit high to Miles. Well, the way this is going, you will see the bullpen of the Diamondbacks tonight. Dontrell Willis, rookie seasons, 14-6. Let's see what he did in the postseason. And then Adam Wainwright, and that was in the World Series. 61 games for Wainwright coming out of the bullpen, and then the postseason, you see what he did. Those were the World Series numbers for both Willis and Wainwright. Willis won in 2003 with Florida. With that dramatic win in the playoffs over the Giants, and then eventually defeated the New York Yankees. 2 runners on, and an 0-1 pitch here to Brendan Ryan. Bouncer too short, out at second, and a double play. Brendan is 0 for 2, back in the leadoff spot tonight. So Willis gets the much-needed double play, and that sends us to the 3rd. There's no score. All on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. And by Jack in the Box right now. Get Jack's really big chicken sandwich combo served with curly fries and a drink for only $3.99 plus tax at participating restaurants. Along with Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin with you. And as we always do on Fox Sports Midwest, third inning rolls in. A chance to visit with Jim Hayes and some of the news of the day. Let's get right to it. David Freese was part of the pregame show. You had him on the show. And unfortunately for David, Jim, he's dealing with that ankle injury and has been put on the disabled list.
Yeah, he said he tried to soldier through the injury, and it came to a point where they felt like it wasn't getting any better. In fact, it was getting worse. So they're sitting him down. He'll return after the All-Star break. He had really a sprain with a little blood in the tissue, and they thought best to just shut him down. Tony La Russa said before the game, also by doing this, we avoid the temptation of giving him a pinch hitting assignment or sticking him out in the field. Can't use him.
And I know Tony the other day was really kicking himself, he said, for using Ludwig as a, he was able to get in the game in Kansas City, and he said, well, should I pinch run for him? He didn't do it, and then Ludwig aggravated that calf injury. That's his left calf.
It's his left calf, and Tony La Russa said there's a possibility, he wasn't sure, but a possibility he could use Ludwig in a certain situation, say pinch hitting with 2 outs. But before the game, Ludwig said he doubted they wanted him to do anything. So I guess this one we'll have to wait and see.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Parra, who's hitting .259 with 2 home runs and 14 RBIs. Two and 2 the count. It's 7, 8, and 9 in the order for Arizona. And a strikeout, little cutter, and the 4th strikeout tonight for Wainwright. Al, let's take a look at his delivery, brought to you by the Exmo Cam and Mercedes-Benz.
He's 6'7", so trying to get tall and throwing a downward plane is very easy for him. But he's a big man, a very good athlete. You can just see his good cutter, as you said, Dan, and getting this strikeout-prone team to go after pitches that are out of the strike zone. That's a good formula.
Here's Gillespie hitting .255 with a homer and 4 RBIs.
Adam really doesn't have a lot of wasted effort in his delivery. Free and easy for a big man. He's very athletic and looks like an athlete. How about that breaking ball? Now, some guys just look so mechanical when they're big, but Adam just looks like an athlete, and his cat-like reflexes. Excuse me, Cat.
I think you were taking a shot at Wainwright there.
Well, I mean, no. I mean, it's very hard to put the cat with cat-like reflexes with Wainwright. I just have too much respect for him. But
oh, so it was a shot at me. Okay.
No, it was unintentional. But I guess it was.
It worked. It worked. Lopez makes the play, and a long stretch there by Pujols. 2 outs. These are always a lot of fun, and last night we had over 41,000. Our next half-price night will be this Thursday against Milwaukee, and you can get discounted seats, 50% off. Family of 4 can come to the ballpark for as low as $33. Kids tickets this summer begin at $7 for any game. Next half-price night will be this Thursday, and Milwaukee, the Brewers, will be in town. And on Thursday night, it's still to be determined by the Cardinals and Randy Wolf, 5 and 7.
It'll be Hawksworth.
I'm afraid to say it, Jim.
I know it's written in pencil in a lot of places, but I think it's written in pen somewhere, Al. I think it's somewhere
in my book, it's written in pen.
Trying to bunt his way on is Dontrell Willis. That's strike 2.
I'll go as far as say it's in Sharpie.
How about Penny and Loesch?
Well, Penny, after throwing off the mound yesterday, did some long tossing today, and the reports were good, pain-free, feeling good. And Loesch repeated what he did yesterday, starting a throwing program, doing long tossing. I talked to him, and he said he felt great. Absolutely no residual effects from throwing. So both those guys are on track to when. We're not positive when they're going to return, but it looks right now like they are turning some corner.
And it's got to make the decision-making of the front office a little bit more difficult, or in a way easier, of what you do at the trade deadline, if anything. If you know those two guys are going to be available, you're not out looking for a frontline starter. You could have Loesch or Penny, if not both, coming back.
I would say that Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan are lobbying for John Mozeliak to actively pursue another pitcher.
Walk to Dontrell Willis. Willis walked Wainwright, and now Wainwright returns the favor. It's John Abamondi there on the left, the assistant GM, and John Mozeliak on the right.
And they had a meeting yesterday with the general manager and field manager, and of course that was before the good news about Penny throwing. But Tony's always looking to improve this ball club, and so is John.
Johnson with a base hit out to left. And Willis will take the turn at second, stops there. First and second with 2 outs.
And you referenced what's going on with Chris Carpenter after getting hit last night, taking that ball off the forearm. And it was pretty nasty last night. You guys showed it in the telecast, and I saw it in the locker room. And it was an angry red mark on his forearm. I asked him if it bothered him at all during the game, and of course he said no, I didn't even notice it. And I told him later, I don't believe you. But Tony La Russa said that Carpenter felt good today, which was a positive sign. And Carpenter told me there was some swelling, but he actually felt pretty good today as well.
Here's a switch hitter, Abreu. When Carpenter gets out there, he is just, he is somewhere else. He is so focused and, on edge, aggressive, however you want to call it. But I'm sure it hurts, but his adrenaline is pumping so much that he's not coming out of these games.
I was shocked that they didn't even go out and attend to him.
They're probably scared of him. He doesn't want a trainer out there. He wants to get back to pitching.
I think you're right.
And I believe there could be a bloody stump hanging, and he'd be like, didn't hurt, I'm fine. That is his MO on the mound.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Misses on the inside corner. Abreu struck out his first time up. Tony La Russa called him a warrior after the game with dealing with that injury, or at least the line drive that hit his arm. It's not the first time we've heard that word associated with Chris Carpenter. Won't be the last.
And if Wainwright is his understudy, a lot of those same words you could use for Wainwright also.
Wainwright looks very sharp here tonight.
I liked him the first 8 batters as he struck out 4 of them and did not allow a base runner. Then the walk to the pitcher, Kelly Johnson, a 2-out base hit.
And a swing and a miss. Strikeout number 5 in 3 innings for Wainwright. A visit with Mike Matheny is coming up. Who's enjoying Cardinals baseball tonight. Budweiser, it's what we do. Well, we said it when he was playing, and we say it now that he's not playing anymore, but still involved with Cardinals baseball. To my right, one of the classiest guys in sports here in town, and that's Mike Matheny. Always a pleasure to see you.
Pleasure's mine, Dan. Thanks.
Now, tomorrow, big day, and I know that you are heavily involved in area sports, whether it be hockey, lacrosse, field hockey, basketball, but baseball is your passion, and you've got a big day coming up.
We do. PNC has done a great job of reaching out to the community and trying to give something back here. And what they've tried to do is reward some of the graduating high school seniors to have an opportunity to play on a big league field, to have their big league day. And so we have quite a few good kids who can come and play. And we have 25 from the Illinois side, 25 from the Missouri side that are going to represent not just them, but their families who've made such a huge sacrifice over the years, dragging them all over the place, to give them their day on Busch Stadium. And hopefully we can talk some fans into sticking around after tomorrow's game. That's great.
You can find out more at hsbaseballshowcase.com. I'll get it out, baseballshowcase.com. Mike Matheny is with us, and here is Felipe Lopez as we're underway here in the bottom of the third. Dontrell Willis throws a breaking ball that's taken low and away. Now, you are also doing some work with the St. Louis Cardinals, and for fans that don't know, explain what you're doing.
Well, I'm just kind of being available to Mo and the rest of the team to
There's a base hit. He's 2 for 2. And gets away. Lopez hustling and in there safely at second. That'll be an error on the right fielder following Lopez's second single of the night.
My role basically, Dan, is to help out the catchers wherever it's available, and I've bounced around through the minor league cities and worked with the pitchers and the catchers and talking about the game, talking about the position, and just trying to encourage these guys and try and help them get to the next level, whatever that is.
You know, it's neat to see some of the kids that have come out of St. Louis in the high school area here that's starting to really produce some pretty good baseball players. How about tomorrow with some of those names that maybe will be future household names? You never know, but some of those guys will be showcased tomorrow.
Exactly.
Who are some of those guys?
Well, we've got quite a few good players. We had one drafted this year. His name's Jake Depew out of Granite City, and Jake was drafted by the Rays. We've got a lot of local kids from O'Fallon, Miles Quintal, and Matt Linder from DeBoer, who won the state. And, oh, boy.
Pujols, and it's 2-run lead. Look at that. Crushed. He's pretty good, Mike.
Yeah, you just got to stop talking when that happens.
You had a chance to play with this guy, and Albert Pujols. Did you know he was going to be this good when you first started seeing him on the scene?
Well, everybody knew he was good, but this good, nobody could foresee that. He just has so few holes. You look at that pitch up in the zone, he doesn't miss many mistakes up in the zone.
Crushed by Pujols. And it's a 2-0 lead for St. Louis.
I want to start talking again, and maybe this guy will follow up.
Number 17 for Pujols, and a pitch taken low and away by Matt Holliday. Mike Matheny is with us, and it's great to see the area. And your kids now are getting to that age group of high school and whatnot, where you see some of the better talent. How good is the amateur talent as that's hit by Holliday out to left? Off the wall. Look at this. Wow. Good dig for 2, and he is safe, and now he is out. That almost put a hole in the wall and left.
That was a missile. He's getting locked in. This is going to be scary when he and Albert both start taking off. Well, I think one thing that people like the idea of is that futures game, just like we did with the All-Star game here last year. Bring in some of the future talent and let them see, let the fans get an early look at them. And you never know when the next David Freese, Ryan Howard, Kyle McClellan, Mark Burley, all the guys who have come through this area that nobody had really any idea about until they made it to the big leagues. And this is an opportunity maybe to see them before they were, and it's exciting.
Here's Nick Stavanoa, and he will look at a strike. 1 out, no balls and a strike on Stavanoa, who was hit by a pitch his first time up back in the bottom of the third. How are you feeling? We get a lot of fans that ask us and know you're medical history in the game and why your career was cut a little bit short, but how are you feeling?
I feel great. Yeah, I remember my name most days, and that's a bonus.
You remembered us. That was good.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. I was scared about that. I feel great.
That's great news. Here's a 1-1 pitch. And you finished up your career in San Francisco, but you and your wife and your family, a big family, you call St. Louis home. And you're not just involved with baseball, but you guys stay busy on, and I mentioned this before, it seems like every level of sports here in town. You have your hand in everything here.
Well, when you have 5 kids, you got to have your hand in just about everything. But, you marry a St. Louis girl, you don't have an option of where you're going to live after that,
sure.
as you know. And this is a great place to call home. And just love giving back, give an opportunity to teach the game.
3-1 pitch and a swing and a miss by Stabenoa. As your kids get older, would you have is there a burning desire to put that uniform on and travel again and be part of a major league staff?
You know what? We've had that discussion before, Dan, and I've always blown it off. But I think it's getting closer to that time where I'm ready to check it out.
There's a liner to left and caught.
I'd like to, I know that I love to coach, and whether it's the Little League level, high school, or the minor leagues, or even when I peek in on these guys and go with Yachty through some of the pre-game film study, I love the game, I love the ins and outs, I love trying to invest into people. It's a great fit for me, so we'll just see what opportunities. I've talked to Mo a little bit and to Tony, and let them know that I'm interested in seeing if there's a need for me, and if so, it'll work itself out.
I want you to take a look at Dontrell Willis here. And Mike, I know you took great responsibility as Reynolds will make that play. We'll come back and show Dontrell Willis and what he's doing on the mound and the responsibility of the catcher with a guy like Dontrell. That's coming up. Cardinals jump out on top. It's 2-0.
Wow.
He touched the bat. Adam Wainwright back to work in a 2-0 St. Louis lead. Top of the fourth, Pujols with a home run is 17th of the year. This is Upton. And joining us here in the booth is Mike Matheny, the former Cardinal catcher. We're talking about Dontrell Willis, and he throws across his body, and Wainwright much different. So how would you compare the two, and what is each trying to accomplish with their different motions? And this is popped up, and it will be caught by Lopez.
Well, if you watch Adam, what he does is he's a straight line pitcher, and typically when you're teaching pitching, you want these guys to maximize their lower body and not cut themselves off so they can let their lower body come through naturally. And there's a straight line you see right from Adam's rear foot to his front. And what Dontrell looks to me like he's doing is trying to create some movement. Maybe he doesn't have the velocity that he used to have, and now by throwing across his body, he's going to start with his foundation. His foot will go there first, and then it creates a little extra sink, but it's really hard to harness.
You got a chance to see Wainwright a little bit before you left to San Francisco. Initially, what did you think of him?
Well, he came over. You could tell he was paying attention when he was with the Atlanta Braves. He had such a good group of guys to listen to and learn from, and
there's a ground ball to second. Quickly, 2 outs. Fox Sports Midwest tomorrow. Our Cardinal experts and other fans will enjoy a live chat. That's tomorrow at foxsportsmidwest.com.
Well, you could tell Adam was special as soon as he came over. With that, it was a great trade. You didn't know exactly what you're going to get when you give up a couple big players. You pick up a young, undeveloped player at the time, but just the great leadership you can see. He stepped into that ace role, and I'd say they have co-aces because I never can take away what Carp does, whether it's on the mound or in that clubhouse.
2 outs and nobody on, and LaRoche looks at a strike. How much pressure is put on a Cardinal catcher with the amount of work? I'm going to put you on the spot that Dave Duncan and Tony La Russa and Marty Mason give you.
Dave Duncan's very straightforward. He's the most honest man I've ever seen in my life. He makes it very known what he wants, what he expects. And you guys can tell, there's no games played. There's no punches pulled. Tony, on the other hand, Tony is hard to play for. And I've told that to his face. But in the same breath, I know that what he brings to the table is conducive to winning. So
why is he hard to play for?
Because he doesn't back off. And Yachty is sharp enough to handle it. And that's really, I've told people 100 times, I didn't teach Yachty anything except how to try and handle Tony. And Tony demands a lot. And you see that there is nothing more important to him than winning these games. And he demands everybody else to have that same intensity day in, day out. And that sounds crazy to people out there listening right now. But to truly, when your body starts to break down, your mind goes with it, and sometimes your intensity falls off too.
2-2 and a check swing. I've said it for me, covering baseball now and Tony for 13 years. When I watched you, Mike, I've never seen a catcher block a ball any better than you. Anybody. And I've talked to other players and coaches about it, and Tony, and he agrees with that. How did you learn how to do that?
You know, that's just a grinding mentality that I had to do that.
Popped up again. These innings are going by too quickly, so you're not going to go anywhere. Whether or not you want to leave, you can't. You're staying in.
I got it.
2-0 St. Louis. Busch Stadium, Sunday, August 1st. Fans ages 12 and under receive a Build-A-Bear outfitted in a 1985 Cardinals replica jersey. You can find out more at 345-9000 or Cardinals.com. Mike Matheny has been kind enough to stick around, and of course we talked to Mike. 622 games with the Cardinals and 4 career Gold Gloves. I mentioned about blocking balls, and we were, cut off a little bit there in that last inning, but getting down and trying to make sure and keep it in front. Was there a guy that helped you with that along the way?
Well, I think I had so many good coaches. Starting college with Bill Freehand, many will remember as an old Tigers catcher, and Del Crandall was an old manager. Played a long time also, and then obviously getting over here to Mr. Dave Rickus. There just was not a better catching instructor. So I had very little excuse to not be good at the mechanics of the game. But blocking is 90% mental. It's just the preparation.
It's interesting you say that. It's almost a situation where you have to want it. It can't be fun. It's got to be hard to do.
Well, when you don't do a lot right, you better be really good at one thing. So, the blocking to me was something I took a lot of pride in. I think there's so many things that go beyond the surface level with blocking the pitch. It's building up confidence with your pitching staff to, hey, when you get in trouble and you get a guy on third base and he gets turned up, you can throw your best curveball and I'm going to keep it in front.
It's the 4th walk issued by Willis. He's also hit a man. What do you see with this delivery?
I see a guy who's putting a lot of torque on his lower half. It's kind of amazing that he can, as big as he is and as much power as he's developing, that he can keep himself that close. That's a lot of tension on that knee and on that hip, and I'm sure he's going to be paying for that later.
When you see this delivery, and he had always the funky delivery before, but yet he didn't have this kind of control problems or issues. Do you see something that you're detecting?
Well, he had more velocity, and when the velocity starts to fall off a little bit, then you start getting creative. You have to start pitching. You can get by with mistakes when you got mid-90s stuff and you got electric movement, but whether it be injuries or age, whatever brings on a little bit of lack in your stuff, you've got to figure out a way to make it happen. And sometimes guys do exactly what Dontrell's doing, and that's cutting yourself off, throw across your body. You got to do the little things right. You got to change speeds. You got to throw breaking balls, off-speed pitches, and counts you normally wouldn't. Do whatever you can to make things happen and reteach yourself how to pitch.
Mike Matheny was part of that great core that got the Cardinals in many ways back on the map. Those, I'm assuming, those years for you with Edmonds and yourself and Scott Rowland and some of the great players that came through here at that time had to be a lot of fun for you.
I just walked into a perfect situation, and to be able to play in St. Louis and have the opportunity to win, but to be a part of a team with the caliber of people that you were talking about, not to leave out Hunter Ticks off.
This is a fly ball down the right field line and out of play. Speaking of the 04 team, by the way, Edmonds, Walker, Pujols, Sanders, Rowland, now all are part of the 300 home run hit club. Scott Rowland joining that last night as a member of the Cincinnati Reds. But, the thing I notice about that, Edmonds, Walker, Pujols, even Sanders to an extent, obviously yourself, and Rowland, great defensive players. I mean, as far as defense, those teams were known for the MV3, but defense a big part of it.
Absolutely. And just quality people too. You talk about that chemistry, and I don't think enough can be said. I truly believe that there's more into the whole thing as far as the success of a team that has to do with what goes on in that clubhouse. You spend 162 games in 180 days, and you don't have that chemistry. It wears on a team, and it plays off in the long run.
Here's a 3-1 pitch to the Cardinal pitcher, Adam Wainwright, and that is back-to-back walks. Let's go back to Willis and Wainwright and what Mike Matheny's talking about with these deliveries.
Well, a lot of times you take a young player, and you'll see even guys in their bullpen. I saw Brad Penny do it the other day. He drew a straight line from where his toe on his right foot would be out of the stretch, drew a straight line down to the end of the mound, and also drew a line of where he thought his stride should end, so he didn't overstride or understride. But he wanted to make sure he wasn't crossing himself, because when you start crossing yourself, you're taking off velocity, and you're causing so much torque on your lower half, especially your hips, that you've got to force your hips through in order to get your arm to come through, and by that time everything's late.
I know fans think about it. I'm curious about the players. 2004, do you look at that as being a missed opportunity against the Red Sox?
That was such a good team. That was the most enjoyment I ever had playing the game. We walked into every game knowing we were going to beat somebody. And we won a lot of games that year, but we had class guys. We played the game right. We stood up for each other. We knew how to go about it in a professional way. And then we just could not find it. We ran into a buzzsaw in Boston. That was it.
Here's Aaron Miles. 2-run lead for the Cardinals. That pitch is taken high, and yet A.J. Hinch with the 5 walks and what we showed you earlier in the 3 previous starts for Willis and all the walks. He's also hit a man tonight, doesn't have anybody up and getting loose. Their bullpen has a ERA collectively of over 7. That might be one of the reasons why.
As you say it gets action down the pen.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Miles. You have a favorite moment, Mike, when you look back at your career individually?
I would say going to the World Series, without question. I'd say my first, I'd like to say my first playoff experience here in 2000, but people keep reminding me about a knife accident that I had that cut me short on that one. It's amazing the memory people have, these Cardinal fans.
It's unbelievable.
But to be a part of a postseason experience in this city is just incredible. And playing here in October, then being able to be on the big stage with the World Series, I just, obviously the fans were rewarded in 06, but 04 had the caliber of team that truly should have won that. And Boston knew it too, but it's all about the hot team. They were destined at that point, and there was nothing we could do to stop it.
1 ball, 1 strike on Aaron Miles. Mike Matheny is with us. Big day for him coming up after the ball game tomorrow with the top high school players from Missouri and Illinois. Good bunt here by Miles. Only play for Reynolds to go to first. Time is running out to vote for the 2010 All-Star selections, and you can help send your favorite Cardinals to the All-Star game. You can vote up to 25 times at Cardinals.com. Don't delay. Voting ends Thursday, July 1st at 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Cast your ballot today at Cardinals.com. First 8 pitches in the game by Dontrell were strikes, and since then, ouch. 30-30, not the ratio you're looking for. Miles, the sacrifice.
Did you notice how much trouble he had throwing when guys were squared around?
Yes.
It was almost a little league play where they stand out there wiggling the bat in front of the plate.
And you'd have to think, Mike, that a lot of it is between the ears, too.
There's no question. There's no question. But, he's trying a lot of different things. I noticed in between, Montero bounced the ball down to second base. The umpires didn't say anything, but I've had pitchers who've struggled trying to get me to bounce the ball down there, get a little scuff on the ball, so when he gets it, he'll have a little extra movement.
Here's a 1-0 pitch, and Ryan shoots it foul. You talk about being between the ears and struggling a little bit. And I think that's been the case here with Brendan Ryan. He got off to the slow start. You know Mike. He's a likable guy. And he's a spark plug for this team. And you pull for him, and he's only hitting .205.
Yeah, and I think he's a big part of this thing. And you start trying to put together what's going on here and why aren't things clicking. And I think Brendan's personality really helps everybody else. Are you kidding me?
Behind him, play at the plate, and out. Montero still hasn't shown the ball. Now he does. Out. You never know, and it's a great time to have you in here. You never know what kind of ricochet you might get off the back wall here at the new Busch Stadium. Now, this is a situation where they do have some of the signage back there. They'll catch that or the brick. So you better be ready as a catcher.
You're just playing goalie at that. That's just straight bad luck for us there. But, wow, that pitch wasn't even. That was 2 feet behind him.
At least.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't him on purpose.
No. He's trying to throw some strikes out there right now.
No doubt.
So now you have 2 outs with the runner at third, Wainwright, and a count of 2 balls and 1 strike. How often do you talk to some of those guys from that 04 team and the teams before them?
We stay in touch. We really do. It's a good group of guys, and I think there's
Ryan hits it out to left, and it's caught.
We keep in touch, and the joy of texting. I'll get one from Edmonds right before a game, or Roland sends me something every once in a while. But it was a good group, and I think they realize it's very special.
Always a pleasure.
Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate it. One of the classiest guys here in town. That's Mike Matheny. 2-0 St. Louis after 4. More at hsbaseballshowcase.com. Find out about that game tomorrow. Bennett Springs in our moment for Missouri. Visit mo.com. And this is brought to you by the Missouri Division of Tourism. Go to visitmo.com. Start planning your next Missouri getaway. Bennett Springs, trout fishing and lodging, camping. This is in Camdenton. And also you have the Katy Trail in central Missouri. 225-mile bike path stretching across most of the state. Over half the trail follows the Missouri River. And those 3 spots, all you have to do is head to visitmo.com.
Happy 70th birthday to Judy Donahue. She's the wife, former big league pitcher Jim Bones Donahue.
Bonesy, huh?
Yeah, but senior. Little Bones' dad. And his mother's happy birthday. Jim was a long time with Rawlings.
Here's Mark Reynolds, and the first pitch taken for a strike on the outside corner. Well, what has happened now to Dontrell Willis? Hard to figure this out, but his control is certainly a huge issue right now for the Diamondbacks.
5 walks and a hit batter, and yet he only trails 2-0.
Home run by Pujols, his 17th. Breaking ball taken low and away. And Pujols has jumped ahead of this hitter Reynolds in the RBI department. He is now at 54 on the season. 2 balls and a strike. There's that cutter again, taken low and away. The Phillies lead Cincinnati. That's in the top of the 9th. By the score of 6-3. Cardinals beginning a half game back of the Reds. Right down the middle, 3-1.
Wainwright has that very good curveball and the cutter. And you just wonder why you don't swing at a fastball. That's the one pitch you can't let get by you.
3-2 pitch. And taken a little bit high, so a leadoff walk, and the tying run will come to the plate. Or Dodge Fox tracks. Could have been called either way. It goes against Wainwright, and his second walk that he's issued tonight. Here's Parra with a runner at first. He struck out. First time up, he's 0 for 1. Adam Wainwright has struck out 5 tonight.
And that pitch that was the second walk, right at the top of the strike zone of today, and yet that was probably 3-4 inches lower than what the strike zone used to be at the upper end of it.
And but it should be. That's a base hit to left. So 2 on and nobody out.
Set up away and hits his spot, but a good piece of hitting. Parra goes with the pitch. So for the second time, Wainwright walks a man, and then the next batter gets a base hit.
Cole Gillespie, the 8th place hitter. Now, if you're A.J. Hinch and you've already had your bullpen up and you have a chance to get on the board against Wainwright, if Willis comes up with a chance to do some damage, Al, you got to think long and hard about pinch hitting, even though it would only be here in the 5th.
It's a good point, but I think he's trying to avoid that bullpen as much as possible. And if you're going to get Dontrell straightened out, you got to keep him out there and live with the consequences.
There's the 0-1 pitch. Cardinals tonight have seen Wainwright with the 5 strikeouts. He's allowed a total of 2 base hits. Base hit by Parra and a single by Johnson. That was back in the 3rd.
Doctrell's still only 28 years of age.
Yeah. And with his previous success, and he's left-handed, you can see why teams would still want to take a flyer on him just to see if they can't rekindle his old magic.
No doubt about it. And for whatever reason, and we're talking about even with his 5 walks and the hit batsman, he's still in this game. Potential go-ahead run is at the plate.
Curveball slowly hit. Lopez, do or die, bare hands, can't come up with it. And the bases are loaded. And nobody out. So decision time here for A.J. Hinch.
They're all in the bullpen. They're all stretching. They want to come in this game, but
look at them out there.
Swinging bunt. Yeah, it's like we're in Holland and all the windmills. But Hinch is going to go with Dontrell. He just had a conversation with Bo Porter, the third base coach.
The other part of this equation, too, is that you don't get many cracks like this against Wainwright. And this might be your best shot tonight. You just don't know.
There's 17 games under 500. The way they're playing, they're not going anyplace. So I guess you look for the long-term future and you try and get Dontrell straightened out.
And this is a guy, though, that can swing the bat. We've seen that in the past.
He's got 8 career home runs.
It's a good swing there.
He's got 1 grand slam, 35 RBIs, a .232 average.
And he looks at strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes here on Dontrell Willis. And he puts one in the dirt. Got him to chase. Willis is saying that it was a foul tip. Home plate umpire saying that's strike 3. And it is. It's a strikeout, number 6 tonight for Wainwright. Visit Bush Bash prior to every Friday home game in the Ford Plaza. And this week, this Friday on the Brockabella night, it will feature Jack the Ripper. Jack Clark will be out there. He'll be signing autographs. For specific details and future player appearances, all you have to do is head to our website, cardinals.com/promotions. Kelly Johnson, leadoff hitter. 1 for 2 tonight with a single, and he has also struck out. That was to start the ball game.
Well, he slowed down in the home run department since earlier in the season. Still a lot of extra base hits. And Molina, after Wainwright falls behind 2-0, will go out and talk to Adam.
I want to remind folks, Mike Matheny wanted to make sure and pass this along that folks that have a ticket to the ball game tomorrow for Cardinal baseball can stick around for that high school showcase and a chance to see some drafted players and some of the best future college players from the area. It's tomorrow after day baseball here at Busch Stadium.
I wonder if you noticed that promo about us. Day and night.
Want to stay away from it. 2 balls, no strikes here on Johnson with the bases loaded. We're in the 5th and a 2-0 Cardinals lead.
Kelly can be very selective now, hitting 2-0.
Off-speed pitch. Good pitch on 2-0.
Yeah, he throws that good curveball, and Kelly Johnson coming up with empty. But
Wainwright would love the double play. Here's Pujols. You know he'll come to the plate. Out there. They'll get the lead man. Keeps him off the board. He's so aggressive over there and fearless is probably the best way to describe Pujols defensively.
You cannot be tentative. And you've got to trust in your arm, and Albert absolutely does. So scoops it up on the run, fires the strike. It's a forced play. All Molina. Kelly Johnson, just be content. Just get the 1 out at home plate. would have been a tough. You see Adam, anytime the balls hit the right side, you've got to get over there. But not to the point where Molina was going to try and rush things, and that would have been hard to fire back, try and get the batter, complete the double play.
So 2 outs now, bases loaded. Tapped foul off the bat of Abreu. Abreu is 0 for 2. He's seen a number of curveballs tonight from Adam Wainwright. And Wainwright with 6 strikeouts this evening. 2 outs and runners in scoring position. He's 2 for 10.
Sure, Adams out there after bases loaded, nobody out. Because they will not score. I'm not sure how they're going to get Abreu out, but they will not score. So Roche really studying. He's 0 for 2. A.J. Hinch.
1-2.
And last time we were in Arizona, a lot of people thought A.J. may get his walking papers. Good pitch down and away. And he survived that series. Then they get the no-hitter. But some people think if the Cardinals win this series, and wasn't a very good start for Diamondbacks last night.
Little liner hit to Brendan Ryan. Wainwright out of the jam with the bases loaded and nobody out. Strikes out Willis. Johnson the ground out. Abreu the line out. Trivia question: since 2000, which National League team has the most wins by their starters? And for the Cardinals, it's St. Louis at 705, then Atlanta and San Francisco. You would think Atlanta, but the Cardinals right there with them. Matter of fact, just a little bit better.
If you really think the strength of this ball club has been their starting rotation, so it shouldn't be that surprising. And Atlanta's big three are no longer.
And a pitch in the dirt to Felipe Lopez. What a job there by Wainwright to get out of the inning. And the Diamondbacks strand the bases loaded.
Sometimes you just, the surprising thing is that they get the bases loaded. And in my estimation, not that surprising that he escaped.
Again, a decision by A.J. Hinch to keep Willis in this game. And that turned into a strikeout. Then he got the next two. Here's a 3-1 pitch. Base hit into center.
Felipe 3 for 3. On the right side of the plate here, which is natural side. And by the way, on this day that Albert hit his 17th home run, giving the Cardinals their 2-0 lead, we say happy anniversary to the Mees. Jane and Tom celebrating their anniversary today.
Pujols, right center. And that ball is off the top of the wall. It got over the wall, and it's a home run. His second of the night. It's another 2-run homer. It's all Pujols tonight. It's added up to a 4-0 lead.
And that may tie him with Stan Musial for the most multi-home run games in a career by a Cardinal. Our Expo Can brought to you by Plaza Tire Service. See that powerful swing and follow through. This to the opposite field, in the front row, in the shrubberies. Clearly a home run. And Albert, his second of the night, 4 RBIs, 56 on the year.
Holiday hit a rocket his first time up, and Al, you and I were talking about it off the air as Holiday now has a little band-aid on the left elbow, but it looked like he was in initially at second base with his hand on the ball that he slid past the bag, but I thought he touched it before the tag, which then would give him a double.
Yes, and in my mind it was a double, and then his slide carried him off the bag, and that's when he was tagged out. But after, he was called safe at second.
It was a ball that was just a line drive. Hit it too hard. He hit it too good.
Right. Got off the wall and played very well by Parra. Trying to slide around the tag.
And it's 3-1.
And the grounds crew did a great job here. You know, you can still see some of the after effects of the concert. And they didn't remove the stage until late Friday night. And the grounds crew worked 41 consecutive hours to get this field back in playing shape. So it may look a little discolored there, but they got to commend them. They did have to replace some of the sod behind first base, but they couldn't do that in other areas because you just didn't have enough time for that sod to set up, and because you were playing baseball yesterday on Monday.
Pujols' first home run measured at 411 feet. His second one, 394. What a big, big two-run homer that is, and what a difference this game might be if you pinch hit for Willis, not knowing what you might get out of that pinch hit, but a bases-loaded situation for a hitter and a position player. And instead, they get out of the bases-loaded jam, and then Pujols comes back with a two-run homer.
And then you add injury to insults is the fact that now you get your bullpen up. You didn't get anything out of the scoring opportunity, and then you might have to relieve Dontrelle Willis anyway.
So Stavanoa's been hit by a pitch. He's also lined out the 0-2. Taking for a ball low and away.
They kind of have a bullpen start going tomorrow anyway. So you're not going with Edwin Jackson. He threw a no-hitter, but threw 149 pitches last time out. There's Rosa.
1-2 and a foul ball. Well, you looked at this lineup by Tony La Russa tonight. You had Brendan Ryan in the leadoff spot, Felipe Lopez at third base, Stavanoa, rare start in right field. Randy Wynn moves from right to center, and Miles a start at second base. You never know what you might see with this lineup from Tony La Russa.
put David Freese on the disabled list. You've got the left-hander on the mound, so Kobe Rasmussen and Schumacher were going to be held out. Gave him an opportunity to use some of the spare parts. And Tony knew that Stabenow would be a young hitter but be very competitive at bat.
And a 1-2 pitch to Nick Stabenow. Up the middle and a base hit. 7 hits for the Cardinals to go along with the 6 walks. Friday will recognize American troops overseas. It's a special night here on Fox Sports Midwest in our Cardinals telecast. We call it This One's For You. And This One's For You is this Friday on Fox Sports Midwest. And if you're at the game, please bring signs to help us send a message of appreciation for our troops and their service, as Colby will be running now for Stabenow, and that'll be it for Dontrell Willis. They have seen enough. Rosa, the right-hander, coming in. It's 4-0. It is our What's on Tap, and we've got baseball tomorrow for you at 12:30. Jeff Suppan for the Cardinals. It's our Budweiser What's on Tap. Enright will be making his Major League debut for the Diamondbacks. Here's a look at our Chevy call to the bullpen. Carlos Rosa out of the Dominican Republic. Began the 2008 season at Double-A. Led the Texas League at that time in ERA. Was promoted to Triple-A Omaha in May and made his Major League debut with the Diamondbacks in mid-June of 2008.
He was acquired May 1st from the Royals. 6 games at Triple-A Omaha this year. He was 2-1 with a 3.65 ERA. We called from Triple-A Reno on May 12th. And he's 0-2 this year. Lefties at bat .450 against him. Righties .200. Overall, .311 man average against.
Colby back to the bag at first as that nearly went to the backstop. 4-run lead. You never know, but you feel pretty safe when guys like Carpenter and Wainwright are on the mound. But you keep piling on.
You know that those two in particular are going to give you 7 innings and hopefully more. Andrew Carpenter, Wainwright is 7-0 at home with 2 complete games. And with Suppan tomorrow, and what we have penciled in ink, not penciled, but ink, is Hawksworth starting on Thursday. So I'm sure we'd like to have a complete game tonight.
The Reds have made a habit of this year, coming back late in games. They have tied it up with the Phillies 6-6, and now that game has moved to the 10th.
Phillies are threatening in the top of the 10th. They have runners on first and second, nobody out.
Here's a ground ball to short. Out at second, out at first, and a double play. So 6-4-3 on the double play, and Holiday advances from second to third.
You almost wonder here, with Molina running shortstop, you wondered if he was going to get the lead runner. He has momentum going towards third base, but took a shot and made the awkward throw to second base, and then they get the double play by 10 feet.
Here's Randy Wynn. Well, we're not talking about that miscue of Randy Wynn's last night. We're talking about the miscues of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Randy said it was the most extreme of emotions that you could have. Ball that goes off your glove, over the wall for a 2-run homer. That time he thought, well, maybe that put this game out of reach. Then you come back to win it, and all is forgotten.
He said it hit in the heel of his glove and just jumped out and went over the wall. He was playing in his 251st errorless game. So obviously a miscue, but it didn't go on his ledger.
Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Cabrera of Detroit with 66 RBIs to lead the major leagues, and he went to Detroit with Dontrelle Willis at the time. They gave Willis 3 years and $29 million. Now he's pitching for Arizona and out of this game tonight.
That was very frustrating 4+ innings.
Be tough to keep throwing him every 5th day if that's what you're going to get.
Exactly.
They'll just intentionally walk Wynn and get to Adam Wainwright. The Krispy Kreme dozen deal. If your Cardinals get 12 hits tonight, you're invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow to receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $2.99. Stop by one of the 4 St. Louis area Krispy Kremes for this sensational deal. Cardinals are halfway there. They've got 7 base hits tonight.
One of the reasons why they might have eventually just walked Wynn, intentional pass there, was to said lefties were batting .450 off of Rosa.
Cubs lead their ball game against Pittsburgh. That's in the bottom of the 7th, 3-1. Wainwright, a bouncer towards short, base hit under the glove, and that makes it 5-0. Pitcher on Wynn, and Wainwright makes him pay.
Hard to believe it's his first RBI this season. As Wainwright, good hitting pitcher, gets it underneath the glove of Abreu. Stephen Drew, their everyday shortstop, taken out yesterday before the game with a bruised knee. And the Cardinals catch a break there defensively and offensively.
Aaron Miles, the hitter, with 2 on, 2 out. Miles has sacrificed tonight. That was back in the 4th inning. And he also walked 4 innings and 6 walks issued by Dontrelle Willis.
Philadelphia has taken the lead against Cincinnati 7-6, runners at second and third, and still nobody out in the 10th.
That's a fair ball inside the first base line. A run will score. That makes it 6-0. Wainwright stops at third, and Miles comes through with a 2-out RBI.
Pulled it right inside the first base line, and Bush had no chance at it. Off that side advertisement board. So Wainwright was running hard. Kendo stopped him at third base. Brendan Ryan can't help his own cause. He's 0 for 3. He's the 9th batter this inning.
2 outs and 2 on. Brendan Ryan has grounded back to the pitcher, bounced into a 6-4-3 double play, and also flied out to left. Back in that leadoff spot tonight. Hasn't seen an awful lot of pitches with the exception of the third at bat where he saw 4.
I think Tony felt that he would not be intimidated in that leadoff spot. And, Brendan had a couple hits yesterday. He's going to stay aggressive, maybe a little too aggressive.
Saw that shot of Dontrell Willis, and I remember a few years ago back at the old Busch Stadium, and he was just lights out for the Florida Marlins. How quickly it can go, and not to say that he's done or through, but certainly not the guy that we've seen in the past.
No, I remember he started the season on the disabled list with the anxiety disorder, and just has had his problems, and he's good for the game, so you hope he gets it straightened out. Very likable young man. His teammates like him. Now he just getting back on track pitching wise.
One and 2 the count on Brendan Ryan. Still plenty of seats for day baseball tomorrow here at the ballpark. Then a busy 4th of July weekend here at Busch Stadium. Two is hit out of play. The mask of the catcher Montero. Enjoying baseball tonight, at least we hope he is, at St. Luke's Hospital, is John Harris. He had an emergency appendectomy this afternoon, but they said he'd be watching baseball tonight. So, John, we hope you're doing well. 2-2 the count. Broken bat, slowly hit Reynolds, gloves and throws, and Brendan Ryan is 0 for 4. Big inning for the Cardinals. It began with a 2-run homer by Pujols into right center. That chased Dontrell Willis after a walk. Then Adam Wainwright, 2-out base hit. Miles added an RBI. 6-zip St. Louis. have been voting for one of 3 finalists in People's Magazine's All-Stars Among Us, choosing the person in our communities who gives his or her time and resources to help others. And recently, the winner was announced. Eric Reitens from St. Louis, who has helped wounded veterans contribute to the community. Eric will be honored at the All-Star Game. Congratulations. In Anaheim on July 13th, and that'll be seen only on Fox. 6-0, Cardinals lead it. 2-run shot by Pujols in the 3rd. Added another 2-run homer in the 5th inning, part of a 4-run inning. Colby Rasmus is taken over in center field, and Randy Wynn in right. There's Justin Upton, and we're underway in the 6th. Little chopper. Lopez. Low throw and picked by Pujols. And there's one out. It was one of those plays over there at third base. You come in and try to get it before the short hop. Or if you play back with a slow runner, you might get away with it, but not with Upton running down the line.
Most of the time, if you're aggressive, then you can kind of pick the hop. And you're not, you're going to be better off. You lay back on that ball, you're at the mercy of the hop you get. Whether submarine on you, where take a bad hop, would just be a charity hop. But as you said, with Upton's speed, you can't play it that way. So he be ready to come in. He does so and catches it around the knees. Off balance throw. He had to rush it, and it was low, but easy for Pujols to pick it.
Here's Jose Oquendo. He's been working awful lot with Felipe Lopez before the games, both on the road and here at home. Phillies have added another run. It's now 8-6. 2-2 pitch.
And they got runners at first and third, and still nobody out, Dan, for the Phils. 9-6 now.
This season, it's easier than ever to find the seats you want or sell tickets to the games that you can make on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals. And you'll find great seats, great service on StubHub all season long. Just head to StubHub.com and choose your seats today. Here's LaRoche. And a base hit into right. They'll be station to station right now, down by 6 runs. He'll afford to get anybody thrown out.
Wainwright has walked 3. And the subsequent batter, all 3 times, has gotten a base hit. And Wainwright will shut the door, and that's hopefully he'll do that against Mark Reynolds here. But he could cut the lead in half with one swing of the bat.
Popped up. This could be a big out. Playable. Molina. The Cardinals, in conjunction with the American Red Cross today, 11 different areas in the metro St. Louis area. They had a blood drive going on, and they collected over 700 units, which that means it helped save over 2,100 hospital patients. So well done by Cardinals Care in conjunction with the American Red Cross. I stopped by the one across the street at the Westin. A number of people were there before the game, and they apparently broke the record of 700, which they had last year. 2 on and 2 outs.
Were you aware of that before tonight?
I was not.
Just think with your powers of persuasion, I think it could have had 1,400.
I could have had you go over there.
I would have gone.
Here's an 0-1 pitch.
You ever donated blood?
Oh, yeah. Platelets, blood. It's amazing what can happen with that. This is Parra, 1 ball, 1 strike. Ground ball, Pujols positioned perfectly. Steps on the bag. Diamondbacks will strand 2. Midway through 6. Redbirds on top by 6. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Taco Bell, open 2 a.m. or later. By Lumiere Casino, every time the Cardinals win, the next day get a free buffet with a purchase of 1 at the kitchen at Lumiere Place. Visit My Choice for details. And by AT&T Uverse, a better TV experience. Visit att.com for details. Drive on Highway 40 here in St. Louis, heading west, and you'll see the Anheuser-Busch sign. So Chevy called to the bullpen, and a right-hander is in for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Sam Demmel. Not long ago, he made his major league debut. He called up on June 15th. 22 games at AAA Sacramento. He was 2-0, 6 saves, 1.26 ERA. He inherited bases loaded jam and allowed all 3 runners to score. That was Saturday against the A's.
Wonder if he's working on his newest blog. That's Brad Strabinger, pregame show producer. You know, he is blogging at foxsportsmidwest.com.
I think he's blogging right now. He's just such a hard worker. You can see him enjoying all the libation, and it's not even the first inning.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. One ball, 1 strike on Felipe Lopez, who has had a good night. 3 hits, 3 for 3. Also a couple of runs scored. 2 balls and 1 strike. This is the 3rd and final meeting of the regular season between the Cardinals and Diamondbacks, and barring a miracle, this will be the final meeting between the 2 teams tomorrow afternoon. Cardinals traveled to Phoenix twice this year. won the first series, but then dropped another series in mid-June. A 3-1 pitch on its way. Cardinals with 2 runs in the third on an Albert Pujols home run. That home run, number 17, RBIs 53 and 54. Then he added number 18, RBIs 55 and 56. 4-hit night for Felipe Lopez. Real controlled swing. And it's been this 2-home-run night for Albert Pujols. First one into left, and the other one into right center.
I was going to say that ties Stan Musial for the team record with his 37th multi-home run game. He's going right up the ladder of Cardinal records.
Pujols is now tied for the league lead in the National League. 18 home runs. Bautista of Toronto with 20. Also Corey Hart with 18, and Arizona third baseman Mark Reynolds with 18. 1-0 pitch. Taken for a strike. Albert now with 56 driven in. He's tied with Troy Gloss. It's third best in the National League.
How about Troy Gloss, huh? Had a good year for the Cardinals 2 years ago. Had the late January shoulder surgery last year.
Pujols hits it down the left field line. Fair ball. Into the corner it goes. Lopez digging for third. They'll wave him in. Lopez play at the plate. He's in there. 5 RBIs tonight for Pujols, and he winds up at third. Well, he jumps ahead of Troy Gloss, now with 57 driven in. With 57, he's 3 back of Corey Hart, 4 back of David Wright.
Double RBI, takes third on the air. And that sweet swing of Albert Pujols. Kendo's going to save him in. The throw's a little bit offline. Shortstop retrieves it. Gets by a wild throw, and that allowed Albert to go to third. See if Holiday can't join some of the fun.
And the ball scoots away. Pujols will score. And it's all St. Louis tonight, 8-0.
Should be a pass ball. All inside, but it's wide, and Montero just reaching out there, and they scored a wild pitch, but
Albert Pujols still trails Colby Rasmus in the run scored department of the team lead. Colby with 46. Holiday shoots it out to deep left center. And that ball, one hops off the wall. And Matt Holiday in there with a double.
Demo's coming in here. This is his 5th game. He now has an ERA. Before it was 0. I guess he had one too with 0, but now he's got a legitimate one he doesn't like. A base hit, a double, and Holiday misses the home run by, looked like off the top of the wall, and came back into the field. Now Stoudemire Jr. out to talk to the battery. By the way, Kirk Gibson was looking for you today.
I made it clear on the telecast last night. It was you that decided to talk about his stash.
And I talked to him today.
How was he?
He told some fans he was looking for me.
Did he really?
Yeah. He assured me he does not use product. And I said, coming from me, I'm just not ever sure. You know, I mean, I know I don't need it.
Bullpen ERA, the highest in the National League.
And Dan, you alluded to it earlier with Willis, and you know, in fairness to A.J. Hinch, when you see that ERA, you're not anxious to go to that pen.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think he made the most valid point, though, about it. Even though it's still June, you're out of the race, and you've got to find out what you have in Dontrelle Willis. But on the flip side of that, you say we're also trying to win some games here.
True.
And at that point, you know, you might think about the pinch hit.
And I thought it was a very valid point that you said earlier. When you look at the talent level that the Diamondbacks had, maybe they could be under 500, but only 2 or 3 games. You know, they're 500 at home. And 17 games under, 18 games under 500 on the road. They're too good for that.
Swing and a miss by Colby. 1-2, his first plate appearance tonight.
Dan Herron, you know, of course they miss Webb, but when you got Herron and just, you know, there's just a lot of talent here, a lot of young talent, and so we've got to learn how to win at this level.
1-2 pitch on the outside corner, and Colby strikes out. First out recorded here in the 6th. Bottom half, this 8-0 game, and some good news for Arizona tonight. Which expansion team logo do you like the best? It's Arizona. It's their consolation prize for what's happening on the field.
You liked Florida. Felt it would be between Arizona and Florida. And Tim Garcia brought up a very good point. When I was kind of saying, well, that's a good-looking logo for the Diamondbacks, he said, yeah, but they're always changing the color of their uniforms.
They had black and purple for a while,
didn't they? Black and purple.
Speaking of black and purple, that's the Rockies, and Ubaldo Jimenez last night had a no-hitter midway through that game. And a grounder that's hit the first. Pitcher covering the bag, and there's 2 down. We will see Colorado on the next road trip, also Houston. 2 outs, runner at third, and here's Randy Wynn. You know, if the Cardinals, Al, go with a 4-man rotation, and they have to do this for a while, you know, is this a situation, in your opinion, that even though Wainwright did not go deep in his last game, with an 8-run lead, you might want to say, all right, give us 7 innings and let's turn it over to the bullpen?
8 innings. And the reason I say that is because his pitch count is getting up there. It'll be significant if it goes 8 innings. And, you know, you do have Suppan, who's still trying to stretch out, and then you got Hawksworth. So you're going to need the bullpen the next 2 days. If you don't want to do it, you know, you still can't hurt one of your starters, especially a guy as valuable as Wainwright.
Nice note here from Jeff and Noel watching down in Florida. They say they never miss a game on their iPad.
Very good.
MLB.TV. 2-0 pitch, and Wynn looks at a strike.
Should that be my next purchase?
Absolutely.
What do you think? John Rooney has one. He got one the first day.
I think you're ready for it. You find yourself handy enough on the road now with your computer?
I haven't brought it all year.
Really?
You're right.
And it's 3-1. So you're ready for the iPad Touch?
Yes.
Father's Day is over. Birthday is coming up. I hope June is
Father's Day. I got a very nice gift from my wife. She told me it was something I'd want to get. It's for the garden.
This should do it. Wynn grounds out. 8-0, St. Louis. Eight to nothing, Cardinals. Big night for Pujols with 5 RBIs. Cardinals with 12 base hits. The great Eddie Hightower, one of the best officials in college basketball for years, and a huge Cardinal fan, is here tonight. Makes his home in this area, but always nice to have Eddie Hightower come by and say hello.
Yeah, real class act. He's also a superintendent of schools over in the east side. There he is in the background there. And prior to that, we saw 2 pretty good hitters talking to each other.
This might be the only time he doesn't want us to talk about him. You know, I mean, those guys, those officials, they love getting all the glamour during those bad calls of the NCAA tournament.
He's never made a bad call. She said he's one of the best.
Final Fours and national championships.
Put it this way, he's never made a bad call against my team.
And your team is?
Me right here.
Do you have a favorite team? As guys in the truck really think highly of Tim. They've crossed him out.
I said something nice about Tim tonight, too.
About the logo?
Yes, he had a very, very nice idea, or a good idea.
Now, do you follow college basketball?
College basketball, I'm not a fan of pro.
So you're a Tigers fan.
Playoffs, I've watched a little bit of it.
You like the Fighting Illini, I know that.
Yes, like Mizzou.
Our producer, Mike Helling, is a fan of the Kansas Jayhawks.
Randy Weedle, formerly now in retirement from Schnucks and their marketing director, is a big fan of the Jayhawks.
Cut off by Holiday, and they'll hold him to a single. So a base hit for Gillespie, and the pitcher, the reliever, will hit for himself. And now they'll pull him back, and we'll see a pinch hitter.
Rusty Ryle. Saw him pitch in a few times in Arizona.
Wainwright would take a double play right here. Out to visit Molina. Cardinals with activity in their bullpen.
Reyes starting to throw right now for the Cardinals. Activity also for the Diamondbacks.
Would be the worst thing to see Reyes come in, Al, and get some work here. You wonder if he's completely out of his funk. They found a mechanical flaw with him. And so, with a pitch count at 96 and a big lead, bullpen is up and active.
Hopefully, Adam get through the inning, and if they choose to stop him after 7, so be it. Miles hit in 6 straight games as a starter. And he's 8 for 35 as a pinch hitter.
Two-oh pitch. Goes down to get it. Pulls it foul. If Wainwright and the Cardinals can win this ball game, he would go to 11-5.
And also go into first place again. I made the point in the open that this period of time where the Cardinals have really struggled, and good offense tonight, scoring 8 runs, good pitching, good game all around. Cincinnati just couldn't pull away from them. Even with all those magical come from behind wins and everything else, that they couldn't separate themselves from the Cardinals. And you just know at some point this team's going to put it all together and be a constant force.
A 3-1 pitch, 3-2. Jimenez of Colorado with 14 wins and a 1.83 ERA. That ERA is the best in the National League, but he's tied with Josh Johnson of Florida. And if Wainwright can get win number 11, he'd be all alone in second place in wins in the National League. Jump ahead of Mike Pelfrey of the New York Mets. So another strikeout for Adam Wainwright. Pitch by pitch presented by Chevrolet.
Good breaking ball right there, but it's down for a ball. Fastball up in zone, 2-0. Then he gets that one down and in, drops a bad hit, but fouls it. Then he misses 3-1, comes back with a fastball, 3-2. Another fastball thrown right by him, and maybe Tony's seen enough after that strikeout. Number 6 on the night for Wainwright. Gets a very nice hand for his 6th and 3rd shutout innings. He is responsible for the runner at first base, and the lefty Chevy called to the bullpen. Dennis Reyes will be coming in. Cardinals lead 8-0. Now the Cardinals lead 8-0. We're in the top of the 7th inning. 1 out. Runner at first base. And our Chevy call to the bullpen is Dennis Reyes will come into this ball game. He only allowed 1 run in his first 25 appearances. Then he had a streak where he allowed 3 in his last 8. And a period where 9 consecutive left-handed batters reached, but he's out of that one now. And let's hope we can get back into the good mode. He was almost unhittable in the first April and May. June he had a tough time. Carpenter and Wainwright talking it over. Good breaking ball out there. Always trying to improve. Always trying to see if they can pick up something, make themselves better. So the 0-2 pitch, and it gets away from Molina. Runner advances to second. Wild pitch. Away, now breaking ball and a good strikeout. So the second out, first out recorded by Reyes.
And the numbers for Dennis Reyes this year: 34 appearances, 16 hits in 20 1/3. And opponent's average will hopefully come down, because at one point this year it was around 100 for the better part of this season.
I think April and May only allowed 4 hits. Then he had that rough spell, and you see the walks are a bit high, 12 and 20 plus innings. Bray uses switch hitters, so they turn him around. And Garcia's joined the conversation. Those 3 have been spectacular. Garcia had a little hiccup his last start, but they are on the mound. They usually win.
And a ground ball hit to short. Time to stretch. 8-zip St. Louis. Angela Dixon is tonight's merchandise winner, the Hyundai Long Drive Inning Sweepstakes. If the Cardinals hit a home run, Angela Dixon qualifies for the Hyundai Sonata drawing in September. Good luck to Angela. To register, all you have to do is visit a St. Louis area Hyundai dealer. Chad Qualls is the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks. Their former closer went 12 of 16 in that spot, but added high ERA, as you see there, nearly 9, and an opponent's average of nearly 400. So he was bumped from that spot.
Chad Qualls, you mentioned, Dan, a former closer, and things have not gone well for him. He has now allowed 11 runs, 10 earned runs, and 14 hits in his 3 2/3 innings. In his last 3 2/3 innings, 24.55 ERA in his last 5 outings. And Ottavino is going to hit for Dennis Reyes. He was called up a couple days ago, and with the Cardinals playing with a short bench and a big lead, I guess they feel comfortable sending him up there.
I'm sure when Angela Dixon signed up for the Sonata drawing, she did not envision a pinch hit appearance by Adam Ottavino.
Well, she probably should have.
You never know. That won't do it. Little chopper to short. He's retired for the first out. How about Cliff Lee? Surrendered 2 home runs. He walked a batter for the first time in 4 starts tonight. But he wins, and he throws a complete game. That's one thing that guy can do, it seems like, time and again. Let's go deep into games, and he did that against the Yankees.
Salas, who was recalled today when Freese was put on the disabled list. Now, when you send somebody down, they have to stay down for 10 days unless they're replacing a disabled player. And that was the case with Salas. He could come up before that 10 days. The Cardinals, with a gimpy bench, elected to bring a pitcher up rather than another position player. So they're really, LaRue's kind of banged up, Ludwig's banged up on that bench, and so but they felt like they had to cover innings in the bullpen with Suppan and Hawksworth pitching the next 2 days.
Here's Miles, and Miles here tonight. A walk, a sacrifice, and a double. A couple of RBIs. With Freese out, you're going to see Miles play a little bit more.
He does what he's done today, you know, you don't mind. Not going to replace Freese's power, but he is batting .300 now.
And shoots that one over the dugout of the Diamondbacks. Scary moment last night. Joel Zumaya has a fractured elbow. He did that on a pitch. And he is done for the year. And it's one of those injuries. We talked about that the other day.
Right.
Guys that break their arms throwing the baseball, and Zumaya did that.
Oh, I always tell young kids, you know, they all want to pitch, and you know, that's fine. You want to be the greatest pitcher in the world at, you know, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years of age, but to deny yourself a chance for a college scholarship, go on further into pro baseball, you know, your arms are not developed. When you talk about grown men breaking their arms, what do you think young kids are doing?
And Zumaya has had some odd injuries. He felt a pop in his hand a couple of years ago, and they said he was gripping the baseball too tight. He had a ruptured tendon. He's had a shoulder issue where he came back. He didn't know if he'd ever throw triple digits again. He did, and he feels he's going to beat this injury as well. Little chopper hit to the right side, and Aaron Miles is out number 2.
When the shoulder injury, or one of those injuries, was a byproduct of Guitar Hero.
Is that right?
Yeah, seriously.
I've never played Guitar Hero.
Well, Dan, we have something in common.
You know, the Mets are playing the Marlins in Puerto Rico, and they're going to stick with Edwin Rodriguez, who's now become their 10th manager in Marlins history for the rest of the year. And they'll decide if he'll be the full-time manager after the season.
Bobby Cox was a little vocal about his buddy Freddie Gonzalez being replaced, and critical of the Marlins owner. And then some people are speculating that that might free him up to replace Bobby Cox in Atlanta.
Arizona third base coach Bo Porter said he was very impressive in his interview with the Marlins. Bobby Valentine also was the front runner. The negotiations collapsed on Sunday, so he's not headed there. 1 ball, 1 strike here on Brendan Ryan. Up the middle and a base hit. Just out of the reach of Qualls.
Right back in the middle. His momentum carries him to the first base side. It was hit behind him, and it goes on through for Brendan's first hit.
Crowd tonight of 38,736.
A lot of them want to see what Felipe is going to do for an encore. He's already 4 for 4.
And for those of you that have just joined us, let's get you caught up as Wainwright lifted from this game. Cardinals leading 8-0. He was right around 100 pitches. Big story, though, Albert Pujols, as Felipe lines it down the left field line. Albert Pujols, 37th career multi-homer game, 4th of the season, which ties him for first in Cardinals history with Stan the Man. And he's closing in on 400 home runs. He's now at 384.
It's the most ever by a player in his first 10 years in the big leagues. The 384 by Albert.
David Freese, prior to the game, landed on the DL. Ooh, off the glove of the second baseman. Throw it at first, and they got him. Felipe is 4 for 5 tonight. That sends us to the 8th. 8-0 Cardinals. Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Home Depot doing more on defense, and this was early on in a very fine play by Aaron Miles, as he took a hit away from Miguel Montero back in the second inning. Fernando Salas recalled because of the injury to Freese, so you would feel that the Cardinals are protected in their bullpen now. Fresh arm. And Salas will get at least the 8th inning, if not the 9th.
And last time he was at the big leagues, he threw 2 scoreless innings. That was up in Toronto. Then was sent down because he pitched so effectively in those 2 innings. They needed another fresh arm. That's when Ottavino came in. But these guys are kind of casual there with this 8-0 lead. And Salas has shown, this is his 3rd time already he's been Memphis. He was a closer in Memphis, having a great year, 1-0, 2.70 ERA, 12 saves in 24 games. He walked 4, struck out 26 in 23 innings. He's pitched well up here.
1 ball, 1 strike. Augie Ojeda. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to John and Carolyn Gideon from Springfield, Missouri. Congrats to John and Carolyn. And thank you for being loyal Cardinal fans. Congratulations. A 2-1 pitch. Redbirds picked up 2 runs in the 3rd, 4 in the 5th, and 2 more in the 6th. Pujols has accounted for 5 of the RBIs.
Said that Salas in the minor leagues this year threw a lot of strikes, so he'll come back from 3-1.
Does so here. There's a strike. It's 3-2. Raul Ibanez had an RBI double in the 10th to give the Phillies their win over the Reds. But it comes at a cost as the Phillies place both Chase Utley and Placido Polanco on the DL. Utley has sprained thumb, and Polanco been dealing with a sore elbow, and now they're going to put him on the DL and have him deal with it through the All-Star break. Base hit for Ojeda to start the 8th inning. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Along with Al Raboski, Dan McLaughlin with you and our Fox Sports Midwest crew.
Salas did come back on Ojeda. We got a base hit, but you'd rather have him earn his way than a free pass, especially when you're up by 8.
Ball 1 to Montero. He had a couple of hits last night. Walked his last time up. And he also has a pair of groundouts to second. Salas would love to see that here and get a double play.
Well, the string there is primarily a fastball slider pitcher.
There's your ground ball. Out at second. Miles the turn. You know, that's exactly what they were working on the other day with Jose Oquendo. As a second baseman, do you take that and step on the bag and then take a step back and make the throw? Or in this instance, because Lopez had to wait, do you come through the bag? And you'll see Miles come through it here. Steps on it, comes through, and makes the throw. This is exactly what they were working with Jose Oquendo on just 2 days ago.
Well, you almost had to do it that way because he was so far off the second base bag, the long run. That's why Lopez had to delay for a second. And then you know, been real tough to run hard to the bag, stop, push off, and back off. So that was a case where sometimes you may want to play it one way because of the way the ball is hit. You have to play it another. And so you make that decision on the fly.
It's also a throw where Lopez has to wait that split second for a second baseman to be in line with the bag to make that throw. But it was a hard hit ball.
Yeah, whole key is to make it that throw chest high.
Albert's got it. He'll step on the bag. Third and final out here in the top of the 8th. 8-0 St. Louis. quality of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime. And by Bank of America. Cardinals banking only at Bank of America. Game time temperature was 78 degrees tonight. Just a gorgeous evening for baseball. We understand that temperatures will be perfect again tomorrow and over the weekend. And if that's the case, come on down to the ballpark. Got a half price night on Thursday night. Family of 4 for $33. Kids tickets start at $7. Then on Friday, it's the Brock Umbrella, the Bush Bash, and you can also have a autograph signed by Jack Clark in the Ford Plaza. Vasquez is your new pitcher. Budweiser Cooley Cup on Saturday, then a family Sunday this Sunday. It's Smearling Vasquez. Jason LaRue will be the pinch hitter. Seen a lot of that the last couple of nights, haven't we?
Sure have.
Wild throws, wild pitches.
Vasquez has held opponents scoreless in 17 of 23 games since his recall. And good to see Jason LaRue. We knew he was a little bit banged up a little bit. Jason has done most of his damage against Cincinnati this year. Didn't get a lot of opportunities, but he's always ready when he is called upon.
4 straight, draws a walk. Let's take a look at our Hardee's prime cuts of the game. Albert Pujols, first of 2 2-run homers tonight. And this one, number 2, just got over the wall in right center. Hardee's prime cuts of the game.
Not only have the Cardinals had 13 hits in this game, they've had 8 walks and a hit batter. Schumacher now pinch hitting.
For the Diamondbacks, it's already been a long year, and last night you had the game in hand. They couldn't make a couple of routine plays, cost them the game, gave it away to the Cardinals. Then tonight, Dontrelle Willis comes out. He walks 6. And in many ways, it set the tone for this ball game.
You have a debut tomorrow for A.J. Hinch.
One ball, 1 strike. Casino Queen with the box tracks, and that was right down the middle. That's fouled back. This is the first plate appearance of the night for Skip Schumacher. Be Barry Enright getting that start tomorrow afternoon. First pitch at 1:15 will come your way at 12:30. Jeff Suppan, 0-3, will get the call for the Redbirds. In the dirt, 1-2. Excuse me, 2-2. Two pitch. And Skip hits a fly ball out to left. That's the first out here in the bottom of the 8th. And here is Colby Rasmus. Talking with some scouts today, they feel that his numbers are starting to get consideration with some of the other outfielders that have put up big numbers in the first half, and maybe a guy that has an outside chance at making an all-star appearance if he can jump up the average. 16 home runs, 40 RBIs, and a .276 hitter. He struck out his first time up.
Trying to get a little info on the Enright.
Starter tomorrow.
Yep. He's 6'3", 220. Opening day, he was 24 years of age, California kid. And it looks like he'll be making his major league debut. The way you see it?
Yes. 2-1.
Played collegiately at Pepperdine University, same school that Danny Herron starred at.
Well, the Cardinals, you mentioned the big three. When they get Carpenter, Garcia, Wainwright on the mound, the Cardinals win tonight. Those three, when they are on the mound, the Redbirds go to 31-18. Cardinal starters are 31-22 overall.
Dave Duncan feels he'll take his chances with his original starting five this season, but 40% of that is on the disabled list, and Cardinals been making do. They'll go back into first place if they win this game. Half game over Cincinnati, who lost today in extra innings.
Tough to smile when you take one off the mask and your team down by 8 runs, but Montero doing that.
Yes, the umpire count your teeth.
Here's a 3-2 pitch with 1 out. Colby pops it up. And out of play. A 3-2 pitch to Colby. Here it comes. Fouled back and a good cut. Minnesota tonight, a fan with a Twins cap. They lead their ball game 11-4 over Detroit in the bottom of the 8th. Minnesota over in the American League Central. Half game back of Detroit. Vasquez gets the strikeout. In steps Yadier Molina. Team with the most wins this year. Yankees 47, Boston 46, and at one point in time out looked like Tampa Bay was just going to run away with it. And now they'd be out of the playoffs. They're a game back of Boston, who's in second place, and 3 back of New York.
People were putting nails in the coffin of Boston earlier in the season.
Got off to a very slow start. The team that is built around their defense and their very good pitching. Might have the best pitching in baseball.
Still got to play the games between the white lines, though, don't you?
And Boston has won 7 of their past 10. They went 13-5 against the National League. Yankees and Red Sox combined with 24 wins against the National League in interleague play.
And the American League once again dominated over the National and interleague play. Good pitch in on the hands, jamming.
What's your theory on that?
Well, it's hard to figure it out because, you know, a National League team can go into American League Park and find somebody on their bench to be a DH. But as you noted that the American Leaguers going into National League Parks at a significant disadvantage when their pitchers have to hit.
This is well hit out to right, but caught. And that, to me, would be the biggest difference between the two, and a disadvantage for the American League. We head to the ninth.
Check, check, check. The Busch Stadium coming up after the game on the post-game edition of Cardinals Live. Pat Paris and Rick Horton are standing by. Pujols powers the Redbirds tonight to look at Albert's 2-home run night. Wainwright locks it down, and Felipe's 4-hit foray. That and more coming up after the game. For now, it's back to the booth, and Dan and Alan. Look, a big Irish jersey, guys.
All right, Mike Shannon, number 18. And here we go. Mark Reynolds to start the ninth against Salas. Big crowd tonight. They've seen Pujols hit a couple of home runs. 4-hit night for Felipe Lopez. And your first baseman is Jason LaRue. Pujols' first home run measured at 411 feet. Second one at 394. Little changeup that time by Salas, and it's strike two. Well, you have to be impressed with what you've seen from Salas. He has not been intimidated at this level, and his numbers have been just fine.
Oh, he's pitched very well every time out. He's throwing shutout baseball.
Hit left side, and Felipe's had a good night over there at third base, offensively and defensively.
4 hits in every play he's made in the field.
Jason LaRue, the fancy footwork at first base.
Gets over there to see if he straddles the bag. Kind of figure out where it is. Puts that foot right in the middle. Good way to get run over.
Here's Parra against Salas. Quick turnaround tomorrow on the air at 12:30 for Cardinals baseball here on Fox Sports Midwest. Suppan getting that start. You might think it would be Albert Pujols, our player of the game, with 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, but we're going to look to another Cardinal. High fly ball out to left. Schumacher. 2 outs. Felipe Lopez is our player of the game, presented by Budweiser. And Felipe 4 for 5. Steal, 3 runs scored, nearly 5 for 5, but it was a very good play at second base to take a hit away.
It's nice to have choices, isn't it?
Sure is. Could have gone with Wainwright or Pujols, but this instance we go with Felipe Lopez. 8-0 St. Louis, and a strike at the knees to Gillespie.
Salas gave up a base hit to the first man he faced. Raced him in a double play. Retired 4 in a row, trying to close this game out. Trying to close out his 4th consecutive scoreless outing, all right here at the big league level.
Little things like this that at this level will build up his confidence even more.
I think he's confident, but I think Dave Duncan is enjoying the Russo gaining a lot of confidence in him, and rightfully so.
Fastball and a strike, and the Diamondbacks down to their final strike of the night.
Must be 2 for 3, but this crowd is ready to go home. Salas from Mexico, and pitched at Memphis, Gulf Coast League, and also Springfield. He was on an injury rehab assignment when he was at Gulf Coast League. But very solid season for him.
3-2.
And one thing in spring training, some of the young Latin pitchers had trouble throwing strikes, but not Salas.
Swing and a miss, and the Cardinals win it. The Redbirds, by virtue of the Cincinnati loss and a win tonight, jump back into first place in the National League Central Division here on June 29th, and it's win number 43 on the year. We've got the postgame show coming up. Big night offensively for Albert. 8-0 our final.